This is scaly leg. I'm going to tell you what scaly leg is, show you how to identify early signs of scaly leg in your chickens, and show you how to treat it naturally, both on the chicken's legs and in the poultry coop itself. Hi guys, I'm Elisa and welcome to Moat Cottage Homesteading. Scaly leg is where a chicken's legs are infested by a small parasitic mite called. These mites burrow under the scales on the chicken's legs to feed off the keratin that's in the scales, making the scales all raised and dry. Now, although this will not kill the chicken, like some other parasites will, it would be very uncomfortable for the chicken. It can make your chicken start to limp or become lame, and you don't want that for your chickens. This small mite might come into your flock if you introduce infected birds or if you've acquired infected birds to start out your flock, and it will pass it on to the others because it's highly contagious. Another way that you can get it into your flock if you don't have it is from the wild birds, especially when you're free ranging. The pigeons bring it in. Your chickens can also get it if you move them into a coop that's had previously infected birds, because the mites live in the woods, or if you've got wooden perches or wooden nesting boxes, or even in the floor or like in the ground. They like damp conditions, these mites, so they live in wood and the damp conditions of the ground, and they'll come out because they'll be ready for a feed by the time you put your new clean chickens in there, if there haven't been chickens in there for a short while. So it's a good idea to clean your chicken coop properly before you put your birds in if you're moving to a new place and there's a chicken coop already there, because you don't know necessarily what's been in there beforehand. It's really easy to tell when your chicken's got a bad case of scaly leg because the scales are all raised and dry looking and they look pretty nasty. But to spot it when it's not so bad in the really early stages is to keep an eye on your chicken's legs, and when the scales start to change, that's when you need to take action. Spend regular time every day or every other day observing your birds, so you know what they look like when they're healthy. Then you'll notice if anything changes. If you have a look at my Australorp's legs, I see there's a change. See the lighter scales? That's not right. They're meant to be dark like the rest of the scales. So that is the start of a scaly leg mite infestation. And this is the easiest and best time to start treating. Of course, if you already have scaly leg in your flock, the best time to treat is now, no matter what stage it's at. You may not have even known that scaly leg was something you were meant to be looking out for, but now you do, you'll be able to treat it. Get set up before you start catching any chickens. You'll need a bucket with warm soapy water in it, deep enough for the chicken's legs to be submerged. You'll also need a soft nail brush that you only use for the chickens, a face washer or a towel, depending how many birds you'll be treating, and Lavender Salve. If you'd like to learn how to make this, I'll leave the video link in the description below. Alternatively, you could use a Petroleum Jelly, or you could use a mixture of Sump Oil with some kerosene in it and just paint it on with a paintbrush. Soak your bird's legs in the water to clean and soften the scales. And then use the nail brush to give the feet a gentle but thorough scrub and get under the raised scales. You want to get the legs really clean and soften up those scales. Humans can get bitten by this mite, but we won't get a scaly leg infestation, so you don't have to worry too much when you're treating your flock. You could wear gloves if you wanted. If you're dealing with a breed of chicken that has feathers on its legs, you really need to get in and around all of the feathers as well. Wear your old clothes when you're doing this, because there's a good chance you could get pooped on, you could get muddy, mucky, or you could get some salve or oil on your clothes as well. When you're happy that the legs are clean and the scales are softened, rinse the legs off again and dry them well with the cloth. Apply the salve or petroleum jelly to both legs and rub it into all of the scales, on their legs and feet, the top and the bottom, into all the cracks and crevices. This will smother the mites, and this is what we want. Getting it right in there. Wipe the excess off the bottom of her feet so she isn't getting stuff stuck to her feet when she's walking around the yard. If you're using the Sump Oil and kerosene mix, use a paintbrush to paint it on and get into all the cracks and crevices. This treatment needs to be done to every bird in your flock every day if possible, until their scales have fallen off and they have nice, clean, new, fresh, healthy scales and smooth legs again. And I know if you have a lot of birds, that's an incredible amount of work. If you do have a lot of birds to do and you just can't manage it, there are products that you can get from the vets or from your poultry shop, wherever you get your supplies from. I prefer the natural way, of course, and I don't have that many birds to treat. And you're going to ask me how long it takes to get rid of the scaly mite. How long am I going to have to do this for? And it can really depend. It can depend if you've cleaned your coop properly, if you're getting all the mites and the infestations, and how often you're treating your chickens. It can take a few months, especially if you have a really bad case. But it's definitely worth doing something about it so that you can have healthy birds. It's really important to treat the poultry coop area as well, where they're sleeping, the wood that it's made from, the perches, as well as any wooden material like their nesting boxes if they're made out of wood. I use plastic nesting boxes. I used to use tea chests, which are wooden, and they used to breed in there. This is a long time ago, back when I first started out, and I won't use them anymore because of this purpose. If you do get an infestation, it's really hard to get rid of them if they're in everything. So what we're going to do to treat the perches and the wood that the poultry coop is made from is I have this spray bottle and it's full of vinegar with some pure lavender essential oil. Give it a shake and I'm just going to spray this on all the surfaces like that. It's really easy. You need to do all of the perches, underside, top side, everything, or pull them out, burn them and get new ones. I just use branches from trees. If you want to learn more about backyard poultry, then check out my playlist. And if you'd like to learn more about backyard homesteading, then consider subscribing to our channel if you're not subscribed yet. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.